Brodes Media.
The day after pod. And I hate to break it to you, I don't feel much better at all. Actually, I might feel worse. Now, it's good that they acquired Shaq Leonard because they are desperate and they need a linebacker because Morrow allowed 200 yards. He was picked on, abused. The entire middle of the field was so wide open. Guys were going untouched to the end zone. Untouched. Nobody near them. And if they were near them, they were bouncing off 49ers left and right. See, I can't believe that was real. I was almost hoping to wake up this morning going, phew! Hey, babe, I had a nightmare. Hey, babe, I had sweats last night because I had a nightmare that I watched my team give up 40 plus to the 49ers, where they weren't even competitive, and Nick Sirianni kept all the starters in super late. That was phony, okay? His message afterwards was, we weren't going to quit. Well, dude, you quit, okay? Your team quit. Your linebackers quit. A lot of your guys quit because they were unable to rise to the occasion. And you knew the 49ers were going to come out ready for war, essentially. They made that very clear in warm-ups, and you didn't do a damn thing about it. You let them steal you blind, rob you blind, go into your home, destroy it, urinate on it, do whatever they wanted to do on it, and then walk out without any punishment. That's just what happened. And I don't knock anybody for having some fear on what this means and getting hit in the gut so much that you start to wonder more. You start to have questions that you never thought about prior to this. Because while I gave the 49ers a fighting chance, obviously they're not a bad football team. Even if they were to win, no way would they beat you down as badly as they beat you down. Huh. Crazy how this league works, huh? It takes 1 week. Now, I don't know what Shaq can be. All right, we know he's not what he was in his prime, but when you are comparing it to the lowest of the low and one of the worst linebacking cores ever, there's gotta be an advantage to bringing him in, right? It can't be this Byard thing, because I thought there's no way Byard couldn't help. Byard's a nobody. His name once meant more, and to be clear, his prime was never as high as what Shaq Leonard's prime was, but I'm just hoping, even after the back injury and where he's at 28 years old in his career, can his knowledge and his smarts and his IQ, can that hold him to some degree that we can respect? Can that give us something that we can at least appreciate and something we can move forward with that is polished and professional? Just give me a professional linebacker, not some guy that they didn't want on their team and then had to bring him back. And while I will say that Morrow has done more than I anticipated in the first 11 games of the season before yesterday's brutal outing. So, he has done some things that have intrigued me just based off of where the expectations were for him. But you cannot get abused like that and have a real legitimate chance when you're playing a team like, I don't know, the Dallas Cowboys, who have CD Lamb, who have Ferguson, who have some skill position players that can tear you up over the middle of the field again. They weren't even worried about James Bradbury. There's no reason to target him. There's no reason to target anybody else. Just keep going after him, keep going after him, keep going after him, keep going after him. James Bradbury said it was some miscommunication because of how much that they're moving pre-snap and they're in motion. So hold on a second. You're telling me it was just communication that needs to be checked out during the week? Well, I highly doubt that. But if that's the case, that's an easy fix, no? Talking? Making sure the defense is on the same page? That's a fix, right? Come on, Shaq. I need you quicker than ever. I need you to put that Eagles uniform on more than I ever needed somebody to put on a damn uniform in my life. Please don't be a Bayard. It can't be a Bayard, right? Because I've been extremely disappointed in the Bayard acquisition. And as much as I've given all the love in the world to Howie Roseman, as I should, for building this contender, when you go into the season thinking Nakobe Dean is good enough, and now Ellis is making an NFL start, and he has to go up against Deebo Samuel, he has to go up against George Kittle, he has to go up against a lot of these players that are super ridiculously good, the organization is unfortunately putting Ellis in a position to fail miserably. That is roster construction-wise, it is. And I love the idea and the beliefs of building in your trenches. That is absolutely 1,000% what you need to target when putting a team together. What we need to do, though, and I'm not screaming that you have to go use a first-round pick on a linebacker. You got to do more than going into a season with Nakobe Dean, who can't stay healthy, and then a bunch of guys that are randomly thrown together, right? You finally found someone in TJ Edwards, and then you kick him to the curb because you don't want to pay him. You cannot have it to the level where the people playing are unacceptable. You might have below average linebackers. You may have a little underwhelming linebackers. You can't have unplayable linebackers. There is a difference. So I don't want to put all the stock in the world of go get a linebacker. It doesn't even need to be that. It needs to be TJ Edwards. It needs to be Kaiser White. That's more of what we need to get. And instead, you get taken advantage of so brutally. They took your manhood. In football terms, they took your manhood. And you know how the Eagles responded to that? Two things I despised. They took it to social media. Jalen Carter taking shots at poor people because they found him crying on the sidelines, and Darius Slay going after Seth Joyner. Shut up! Shut up! You just got your ass kicked. Who cares what Seth Joyner's saying? Who cares what a Twitter video says about your play? You can't defend it. You got embarrassed on a big-time 425 game. The San Francisco 49ers were making fun of you for months and months and months, saying you're not even good. Specifically targeting James Bradbury. And they pinched you. They took out the wooden spoon and spanked the tush. And 3 hours after the game, because Seth Joyner says that our secondary players don't like the tackle and they don't like the contact, after that performance, after that piss poor, disgraceful effort tackling, you have the stones to go on social and blah, 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 blah. I don't like that. I hate it, quite frankly.